Where do I even begin, ladies and gentlemen, today in this daily cryptocurrency market update? There is so much that has happened over the past 24 hours. Figuring out where to start is a rather hard problem. But I think the best place to start is with Coinbase now suing the SEC over a Freedom of Information, historical information kind of act. So we are going to be starting there. We also have news of a Solana ETF. Now, we have absolutely said Solana was going to be the first altcoin outside of Ethereum. Of course, we know about Bitcoin and the kind of journey that it's gone. Solana was going to be the first altcoin outside of Ethereum. And the reason being, if you look at all the ETPs and the kind of people that offer crypto products in the form of baskets, Solana is always number 3. It's not BNB, which is actually higher than it in terms of market cap. It's always Solana. It's institutionally favorited. We have looked at the Sol BTC chart. We're going to be talking about that, the actual filing that's taken place. And then we're going to be talking about how BlackRock has been gobbling up Bitcoin whilst the little guy, retail, has been scared and very uncertain and worried because of the kind of poor commentary that is often given on the cryptocurrency space on Twitter, on YouTube. Whilst they've been kind of worried, BlackRock's been coming in and gobbling up Bitcoin. We'll look at the SEC filing for that. We'll look at the kind of confirmation of that. And then we're going to talk about a number of other things in relation to the cryptocurrency market, where it's at from a technical point of view. We'll also be looking at why the Sol BTC chart is significant, not just in regards to Solana, but in regards to the broader space. We'll look at our exchange-traded products that are offered in regards to the top 10. If it's Bitwise's top 10 crypto basket, it points to a very bullish time ahead, and we go with what's more probable. It's plain and simple. If we think downside is more probable, we'll go with it. We happen to think upside is more probable. We're waiting for the Dixie to sort of make its mind up on the broader macro. That's going to come on the back of rate cuts, having a bigger effect on the dollar against other currencies, just like why it's gained strength, even though other central banks have been upping rates. When they cut, it's going to lose ground because of the kind of colossal size of the dollar debt markets. We're a 360 channel here, guys, and that's what these daily markets are all about. Correlating everything together and giving you guys our best take on the markets, and what you choose to do with that is entirely up to you. This is not a financial advisory channel. We do not offer financial advice whatsoever. We absolutely have to say that, because there's always one ding dong out there that's looking for somebody to blame for his own actions. Don't be that guy. Apply critical thinking to the market. I know it sucks me saying that, but you need to do it. You need to. What kind of a man or woman doesn't take responsibility for their own actions? No bueno. You don't want to be that individual. So let's dive into it all. And let's start things off with the Coinbase SEC news. Now, Coinbase is suing the SEC just like we saw Grayscale do. The eventuality of Grayscale's suing of the SEC led to a Bitcoin spot ETF. We know we've got an Ethereum spot ETF coming next month, very probably, according to Eric Balanchunas, the head senior analyst on ETFs over at Bloomberg. I wonder what this is going to lead to, because they've been and called out many cryptocurrencies as securities in their lawsuits against Bittrex, Binance, Coinbase. It's going to give broader clarity to the overall space. So Coinbase is officially suing the SEC, accusing regulators of trying to cut out the crypto industry. Over the last few years, the SEC has failed to do its job and protect investors. In fact, they've been the only beneficiaries of investors losing money. They're the only ones getting a payout from the Terra Luna situation. Blah, 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 blah. They also somehow managed to charge CZ $4 billion. What a troll. They're the biggest gangsters out there, guys. And I could say a lot on that subject. I could probably recommend some great books that you can read in regards to all of that. And we do have lots of... Some people really like my ramblings, certainly when I bridge into the realms of the political arena and the BS that's within it. And also, more broadly, my sort of views on the world. And we might set up a second channel. I will be revealing my actual name soon. I think it's about time. And with it, my identity. I'm like Bruce Wayne at the moment. Allincrypto is the Batman pseudonym or whatever. Anyway, we're getting well off topic. We might think about doing that. Let me know if you'd like that in the comment section. So they worked closely with FTX and had... no idea it was a scam. I would say they probably facilitated that scam so that they could, they want problem, reaction, solution is how they roll. And I think there's a name for that. I'm sure some of you can leave that in the comment section. So what's the point of the SEC? Well, the SEC, there is a point in it. We do need regulations, I do think, in certain markets. I'm not an anarchist. I think anarchists have, they still need to get somewhere on a motorway. It's not quite a practical thing. I'm a libertarian. But even still, I think there is need for minimal regulation in certain fields. So that is in the form of people being upfront about products that they're selling, for example. So if you're selling something, you need to be upfront about it. And there needs to be a watchdog to make sure that's the case. Any kind of overzealousness of them needs to be punished, just like what we're seeing happening with the SEC right now. But they've done such a bad job of regulating the cryptocurrency space. Gary Gensler, somebody who really understood this industry. I've watched all of his MIT lectures, by the way. I thought a lot of them were really good. I thought we missed the point on certain things, but he had a better grasp, I think, of crypto than a lot of people out there. And he wasn't put in that position. People think that these guys at the head of these organizations are just dumb, right? No. The Fed isn't dumb. The SEC isn't dumb. They know exactly what they're doing, and it's for the interests that they have, perhaps not on the face of things. That's my honest opinion on it all. So this was very interesting. Again, Grayscale's sort of complaint led to a pretty nice result. We can see this is the actual complaint. So Coinbase Incorporated, the largest digital asset trading platform in the United States, and they fought to be within the United States, which is why we were long Coinbase stock from the sort of $40 range. It's now, we can take a look at it. We've used it as a broader barometer for why we're bullish on the crypto market as a whole. Retained History Associates Incorporated to submit Freedom of Information Act request seeking information about certain digital asset related investigations and enforcement actions initiated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. The SEC denied those requests. Why? You can't do that. And the fact that they're denying it shows that there's something to hide. And we found a lot of dirty laundry come out in the wash. You know, just yesterday we looked at the fact the SEC had been slammed again. They've lost their head of enforcement in regards to crypto at the SEC. They've lost a number of people that they said, look, you either resign respectfully or we're going to fire you because of you've embarrassed us, basically. And the SEC has actually had to pay fines over this industry for gross misconduct. And by the way, that means the taxpayers paid the fines, not the SEC. So you guys that they're trying to protect and haven't done. So History Associates now bring this action against the commission to compel compliance with FOIA. Very, very interesting. The whole thing is just ironic from start to finish. So the US government charges Coinbase for operating an unregistered securities exchange. Also, the US government uses Coinbase to sell hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin. Oh. Are we living in an episode of Black Mirror? I wonder. Not only that, by the way, Biden also, who's tasked the SEC to do what they're doing, they're an agency under his administration. Gary Gensler was put there under his administration, is also raising funds through Coinbase for donations. Are people not tired of getting trolled at this point? This is a microcosm of the broader political system that is literally trolling people at this point. None of it makes any sense anymore. And the people going along with it, and we don't do ourselves any favors on this channel for speaking in this manner. The people going along with it, I have no idea what to even say in regards to that. Anyway, let's move on. So that's piece of news number one. I told you this was going to be a jam-packed one, as they always are. Let's dive into what also took place. So breaking news, VanEck files for Solana ETF. Let's get off Cointelegraph's. Cointelegraph, one of the biggest people out there. Sometimes I think they get things horribly wrong with a lot of their reporting, but maybe I'm biased because, of course, we have our own website, allincrypto.com, for anybody that's interested. So this is from Eric Balanchunas, senior analyst over at for ETFs over at Bloomberg. Looks like VanEck just filed for Solana ETF, and we said this was going to come. We said Solana would be the first, and we've been right. Just like we said an Ethereum ETF was going to come, and we had people like Michael Saylor and all these other people clown us. Well, not clown us specifically. I think Michael Saylor probably doesn't even know who I am, and I'd love to interview the guy, by the way. I think he's got some great points. I also think he's got some ridiculous ones, like how many chairs are you sat on? I mean, you sit on multiple chairs throughout a day. You know, there's not just one form of car out there. There's multiple. They do different things. You drive a sports car if you want to go fast, although in the UK, I mean, you can't really drive fast anywhere unless you want to break the law and end up losing your license for doing that. You know, you drive if you've got a family, you might drive a 4x4. You might have a Volvo XC90 so that you've got those two extra seats in the back. You know, if you drive around the city, you might have a smart car. If you transporting things, you might have a truck. Crypto is very similar in that. And I was starting to write a book. I put it on pause in regards to the similarities that technological revolutions have and how crypto very much falls into that basket. But this is significant. The more significant thing for me, of course, is obviously the Sol BTC chart, which we highlighted yesterday. We did a Solana video a couple of days ago. I know people don't like Solana. I say I know people don't like Solana. There are people out there that are very zealous against Solana. Whether you like it or not, it's going to do well. Plain and simple. And actually, the Sol BTC chart shows that. And what can we derive from the Sol BTC chart? Just like we've derived from the crypto ETPs, that Solana makes up a lot of. So it makes sense that they're looking bullish with Solana doing what it's doing. Not only is Sol going to gain ground against Bitcoin, it means that the overall cryptocurrency market is in a bullish place, because is Solana going to be going up against Bitcoin in an environment where things are selling off and risk generally is doing well? Just like we've looked at BTC, Amazon BTC, the stock market. Remember, we still got those targets for that. We give a 360 to our best of our abilities views on things and how crypto finds itself in that. And I think that's very unique as a cryptocurrency channel. We've got I'm not the best at understanding everything, but I've learned from some of the best. And I ultimately think that, we've got an unbelievably bullish time ahead of us, and that isn't financial advice. Again, take responsibility for your own actions in regards to this industry, make your own decisions, live by the sword, die by it, and don't look for other people to blame. That's the sign of a weak individual, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen. So Sol BTC chart gives me broader confidence that the overall market is in a bullish place. It also gives me broader confidence that Solana is going to get that ETF. And we also looked at the likes of ETH BTC, which let us know that Ethereum was going to have an ETF. This will set up pretty spectacularly. You can also look at ETHD, ETH dominance. And another thing that gave us real credibility on the cryptocurrency space is the ETPs, which saw, so this is Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund. Solana's the third largest holding in this. It's also the third largest holding in this, not BNB, surprisingly. When it walks, talks, and quacks like a duck, ladies and gents, it's a duck. You can look at things like that we've done on Marathon. We had a couple of really good movers in regards to the stock market recently. TerraWolf was one that I know a lot of my Patreons are on. If you want to become a Patreon, guys, do check the link in the description. Whichever way you look at the market, guys, it's a bullish one. And don't let anybody tell you differently. And the interesting thing is, whilst you've had all these ding-dongs, and that's what they are, ding-dongs, posting just totally unrelatable things to the market in regards to reasons why it's going to crash, BlackRock has been gobbling up Bitcoin. We ran into that key level of significance around all-time highs. It's the first time Bitcoin's gone and put in a high pre-halving, halving, whatever you want to call it. I couldn't care less. And we were expecting a pullback there, not just against Bitcoin US dollar, Bitcoin against the SPY, Bitcoin against all these things, but it is going to set up for broader continuation. Bitcoin and crypto more broadly, I think altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin, is going to be one of the best sort of places to be in regards to what's going to be a bullish market generally for risk. And we see that, and I got confirmation of that with what Stan Druckenmiller did, moving from NVDA, all the way down to the IWM, which is the Russell 2000, a basket of smaller cap stocks that are very heavily dependent on interest rates. I'm also bullish on bonds, housing, what's crypto going to do in that environment, it aligns with global liquidity, so on and so forth. We can go into everything. But in a SEC filing today, BlackRock Global Associates Funds disclose owning 43,000 shares of iShares Bitcoin Trust as of April the 30th, so the filings always come out later. This follows two filings that BlackRock made on May the 28th, disclosing Bitcoin exposure in the Strategic Global Bond Fund and in the Strategic Income Opportunity Portfolio. See my tweets on that day. Today's filing, use keyword search Bitcoin. And you can see this is the filing over on the SEC. We're not going to go into this. But whilst the market has been pulling back, and we do believe this is just a pullback in what is a broader uptrend, we still have that $151,000 target for Bitcoin. We're some of the only people that have got this so right. And actually, we were getting back into the markets down here at 16, 17K after getting out up here. We didn't get out of the perfect top, not claiming that. I'm not claiming perfection here, but we've got a really good kind of handle on things. Also, rather interestingly, Bitcoin and gold join forces in a newly filed ETF that uses leverage to give 100% exposure to each. Check it out. Now, that's interesting because we're also bullish on gold, just to segue into gold a little bit. Yeah, it's having a bit of a pullback. When you start to hear everyone talking about it, that's usually time to be a little bit scared. But we've got that all predicted down here. Inverse head and shoulders target taking us to $2,659. And then we've got those broader targets. And actually, you've got lots of banks coming out and kind of confirming the same thing. We can relate this to crypto in the form of BTC against gold, pulling back just like the dollar chart, finding with a support here. This is likely going to form a nice puny little weak right shoulder, seeing Bitcoin do very well against gold. And I also want to show you the total too, because I am predominantly in the altcoin market, guys. My bet is that altcoins will eventually outperform Bitcoin. And we're not doing anything differently to what we've seen in previous cycles. So, a lot of information. I've rambled on for way too long, as I always do. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this update as much as I enjoyed presenting them. If you are not already a subscriber, what are you doing? The vast majority of people that watch content don't subscribe. We drop an update just like this one every single day around 1 p.m. UK time to help you stay up to date with the latest and greatest happening in the crypto space, but also the broader markets. I think today we've got PCEs coming out. That's going to be quite pivotal for the markets. We'll see what that reveals. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I will see you all in tomorrow's daily market update. Hopefully. Enjoy.